Most people know Kanye West for big albums, huge controversies, and loud dramatic moments. But in the middle of all that, he released one of the strangest projects in his entire career, a 12-minute Latin choir EP called Emmanuel. No rap, no drums, barely any promotion, and almost nobody talks about it. So what even is this project? Why does it sound so different, and why does it feel like a forgotten piece of a much bigger Kanye era? Emmanuel is one of the most unusual releases in Kanye's discography. Released through the Sunday Service Choir on Christmas Day 2020, the project only has 5 songs, all built around Latin liturgical texts, choir vocals, and minimal ambient production. This is not a normal gospel album, and it definitely is not a rap album, because this technically is not a solo Kanye album. But creatively, it still feels completely tied to him. To understand why Emmanuel sounds like this, you have to look at the era Kanye was in at the time. During the Sunday service and early Donda period, his music became way more spiritual, emotional, and stripped down. Albums like Jesus is King and Jesus is Born already showed him moving away from traditional hip-hop, but Emmanuel pushed those ideas even further. Instead of energetic gospel production and big performances, the focus here is entirely on atmosphere and choir arrangements. The first track, Requiem Aeternam, immediately sets the tone. The title translates to eternal rest, and the song feels more like a prayer than an actual modern track. The second track, O Myra Knox, continues that same feeling. The choir stays at the center while the production remains extremely minimal. Then comes O Magnum Mysterium, probably the most important song on the EP. It's based on one of the most famous Christmas chants in Christian liturgical tradition and represents the mystery surrounding the birth of Christ. Fourth track, Pure, meaning child, continues the Christmas themes while keeping the same stripped-back atmosphere. By this point, the project fully feels like a short sacred ceremony rather than an album. The final track, Gloria, closes the EP with a hymn of praise. But even here, Kanye avoids turning the ending into some huge dramatic finale. The project simply fades out quietly, almost like the experience was never supposed to last very long in the first place. Some tracks on the EP were reportedly connected to early Donda and God's Country sessions, and honestly, you can hear similar ideas on songs like 24 and Come to Life. The album cover originated as a scrapped Donda cover before being altered and reused for the EP, designed by Nick Knight. The artwork shows a white dove flying in front of a white sphere. It's an extremely minimal image, but it carries a lot of symbolism. In Christian imagery, the dove represents the Holy Spirit, which immediately connects back to the spiritual themes of the project. The white sphere behind it feels more abstract, almost like a symbol of the world or something universal and timeless. So if Emmanuel is this unique, why does almost nobody talk about it? The biggest reason is visibility. Emmanuel wasn't released as a Kanye West album, it was released under the Sunday Service Choir, meaning a lot of fans never even knew it existed. The timing also worked against it. It released on Christmas Day 2020 while most people were focused on the Donda era and waiting for Kanye's next major album. There was almost no promotion, no music videos, and no big rollout. It simply appeared and disappeared. And then there's the music itself. A 12-minute EP made entirely of Latin choir music was never going to appeal to the average Kanye fan looking for rap songs or mainstream gospel. Because of all that, Emmanuel became one of the most overlooked projects connected to Kanye's career. Despite how niche Emmanuel was, it actually performed surprisingly well within the gospel world, reaching the top of gospel charts shortly after release. But commercial success was never really the point. And whether you see it as a bold artistic experiment or simply a curious side project, Emmanuel remains a fascinating piece of the Sunday service era. Not because it's the biggest project Kanye was involved with, but because it's one of the clearest examples of him following an idea wherever it led, regardless of expectations.